Peace be upon you and the mercy of the Almighty God. It is with immense gratitude and humility that I stand before you today as the Executive Director of Kampala Capital City Authority. I am honored to accept the responsibility to serve the people of Kampala. Kampala is not just a capital city of our beloved country, but a beacon of hope, which presents tremendous opportunities for all its residents and other people who transit through it. Firstly, allow me to begin by thanking the Almighty Allah for giving me this opportunity to serve in another capacity in my country. I would like to extend my heartfelt appreciation to His Excellency, the President of the Republic of Uganda, General Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, for entrusting me with this noble duty. I'm deeply grateful to the government of Uganda, mostly my mentors who are amidst us here. I am privileged to have passed through all the hands of the senior officials of government of Uganda. I would also like to thank the KCCA team. Even before I came in here, I have received messages from you informing me that the ground is leveled and we are ready to take off. I would also like to thank the political leadership of the city. I have listened to your counsel and I am certain that we will work. I have received warm welcome from the population and the people of Uganda at large, and I appreciate that. I know that with the messages you have put on the social media, on the television, on my phone, together we have an opportunity to transform this great city into a model, sustainable, resilient, and inclusive city. Kampala City is a city with tremendous potential. You have all listened to my colleague. As we commence our tour of duty here with my deputy, we had, when we were applying for this job, particularly me, I had thoughts of what this city should look like. And these thoughts have been debated on the radio stations, TV stations, and social media. Most of you have come across them. But I would like to emphasize just a few because they will form the agenda for our debate with my technical team, my political leadership, and the central government. On waste management, I appreciate the challenge we are facing, and I have listened critically to my colleague about fast-tracking, acquiring land for disposal of the waste generated in the city. But in addition, we will fight that battle and acquire the land. But in addition, I encourage us to use innovative methods of managing this waste. There is no modern city which has depended on dumping waste alone, which has managed waste properly. With this, I want to encourage ourselves to work on methods which will help us to reduce the pressure on the landfill. Whatever we dump has to be removed in some way. We will need to promote waste to energy solutions and conduct education campaigns for our people to change their methods of managing waste, because it starts with all of us. It starts with you who has procured a banana and put it in a cavera and then dumped it where you have procured it from. So we'll need to carry out those campaigns to ensure that within ourselves we change the way we look at managing waste. On urban planning, I also had some thoughts that we'll have to ensure that we strengthen our urban planning directorate and ensure that we have guided development and also improve on the turnaround time of responding to requests for approval, because from the public that has been an issue. We also thought about improving traffic flow by ensuring that we digitalize public transport, we optimize studies to inform improvement in the traffic flow, and make our city roads motorable so that we reduce the waiting time or the travel time on our roads. And I am sure we can achieve this. We will ensure security, safety of the city residents and their property. People should live in this city peacefully. It is the city we have, and it is what we have grown up knowing. We will promote inclusivity in guiding development because we need everyone in the city, but in an organized manner. We thought about revitalizing the city economy. As my colleague said, we need the money. So in order for us to improve the revenue base, it is important that with this able team, we think about how best we revitalize the economy and widen our revenue base. The issue of corruption is a pain in every institution, but it's not something which cannot be mitigated. We'll leverage on technology to automate our work processes, to enhance efficiency, and also minimize physical interaction with the service seekers. Let's automate our processes. I have heard we have a very able ICT team. I think we'll leverage on this so that we minimize interaction with the service seekers and automate our processes. Ugandans are making money and they need to use that money to relax. So it is important that we regulate our public spaces. We make Kampala a beautiful city so that what we toil to make, we enjoy it within our city. Why should we always refer to other cities when we can develop our own? We will, in addition, strengthen the anti-corruption efforts and make corruption a risky venture for our employees. We will make it a risky venture, and I am telling you this is going to happen. But in addition, corruption is not a one-sided action. I want to appeal to the public. Please do not tempt our staff in the city because there is a giver and a taker. This fighting corruption should be a concerted effort. We will endeavor to maintain Kampala clean and keep it as a green city. The thoughts are enormous, but I know you have come across all these, and in the past 2 weeks, these areas I have mentioned have been extensively debated by the Ugandans, but they have areas which they have emphasized, some of which my colleague has brought out. I picked a number of them which I want to echo because they will be part of our discussion in our meetings. The issue of solving the garbage management crisis, refocusing our energies to accelerate the drive of a smart city that has come out, timely payment of emoluments for cleaners, and my colleague has told me that we have made strides on that, maintaining trade order. Yes, we want revenue, but we have to be orderly in everything we are doing. Street lighting has also come out from the public, improving the condition of our city roads. I am happy my colleague has said some work has been done on that, but we need also to do more to ensure that our roads are motorable because they talk to the traffic jam we are experiencing if they remain the way they are. Beautification of the city and the need for the enforcement team to protect abuse of our green spaces has also come out from the public. Streamlining management of bus and border transport has also come out, and those will form part of our discussions in my initial meetings with the heads of directorates when I meet the political leadership of the city and other stakeholders. To my supervisors, the head of public service, and Secretary to Cabinet, Your Worship, the Lord Mayor and your Deputy, the Council of the City, the Minister for Kampala and Metropolitan Affairs. Now that we are receiving the instruments of power, together with my deputy and staff of the city, I would like to pledge to serve with dedication, humility, and integrity. In the same vein, I would like to request my supervisors, those I have mentioned, to extend the support required to enable us deliver as we aspire to turn Kampala into a smart, sustainable, peaceful, and livable city. I am cognizant of the fact that we cannot develop this city in isolation. I therefore call upon all stakeholders, government agencies, development partners, the civil society, and the private sector. I don't want to forget the residents of the city to join hands with us. Please let us collaborate to unlock the potential of our great city. To my staff in the city, the able team, I call upon you to serve with diligence. We have been appointed to serve humanity without discrimination. The tribal, religious, cultural, and other individualistic inclinations should not define us. Let's pick those common interests that are pivotal in ensuring excellency in serving the people of Kampala. That is what will take us in the books of history for having left a mark in this city. I call upon you to demonstrate what we are taking the taxpayers' money for. Every one of you who is willing to work for the good of our city will have my full support. I have received feedback, some messages on my phone, people threatening you that I am tough. That may be an accurate description of me for those who are not going to perform the expectation of what our leaders want. I will not tolerate corrupt individuals. I will also not tolerate laziness, if such elements so exist in our city. To the residents of Kampala, from all walks of life, I urge you to be part of this transformation. Together, let's take pride in our city. The change we need has to begin with all of us. As I conclude, allow me to thank my predecessors, Madam Jennifer Musisi, Madam Dorothy Chisaka, and in a special way, my colleague Rusa, the outgoing acting ED, for leading the staff of KCCA during this period of transition. Your tireless efforts are highly appreciated, and we will build on that to make Kampala better. I thank you all. May the Almighty God bless Kampala, bless Uganda and its people, for God and my country.
And your deputy? Yes, she's my daughter. The head public service and secretary to cabinet, permanent secretary, the secretary to the president, and from that particular office, of course, I've already recognized the deputy minister. My deputy here, our worship Doreen Nyanjula, and the executive secretary, Honorable Akim Chiza, the outgoing ED and your deputy, my brother here, the mayor of this place, members of the technical team, particularly the directors, your deputies, the managers, the supervisors. There are so many layers of leadership here. I salute you all. Of course, I deliberately left out my dear sister, the incoming ED, and the deputy from that protocol to give you that special welcome to the Lord Mayor's Para. Yes, I am honored and privileged, Madam Secretary of the Cabinet, to host this function here at the Lord Mayor's Para. And you are almost welcome. Yes, it's a great day when we are getting newborns into our family. My dear sister here, whom I'm seeing for the first time, and I've never had the opportunity to talk to her. And my brother here, whom I'm also seeing just here. And all of you, members of the KCCA family. I have a habit of speaking a lot, but today I've very few words. I'll not take a lot of your time. Of course, reason best known to myself. I'll just do two things. One, to extend my sincere congratulatory message to you, to convey my message to you, Madam Buzeki, Hajat Buzeki Sharifah, and the deputy upon that appointment. I wish you all the best in that very coveted, that equally challenging and enigmatic position of the ED and Deputy ED. The position you are occupying now is loved and loathed in equal measure. Loved and loathed in equal measure. And I'm at pains either to sympathize with you, congratulate you, but I wish you all the best. I've been here since inception of this institution of KCCA. It's this adage, all the brooms, all the corners, but the new ones suit better. Or the other way around, that a new broom sweeps better, but the old one knows all the corners of the house. You are the third ED I am receiving during my stay here at KCCA. One common feature is that all have been ladies. All the EDs I have received, the substantive ones, they have been ladies. From the inaugural one, the Pathfinder, who was a trailblazer in that direction, Madam Jennifer Semakula Musisi, to my dear sister, Madam Chisaka. I've said that's one common feature. The other common feature is that both left unceremoniously. The first was sacked. The first resigned. The second was sacked and was prosecuted. The other common feature is that every time those incidents happened, the and stopgap measures taken to bring in acting all have been men. The acting have been men. Both the deputy ED, the acting ED, and the deputy acting ED, they have both been men. When Madam Jennifer Samakula resigned, Chitaka Andrew became the acting ED, deputized by Serunkuma. Now, when Madam Saka left, my brother here, the outgoing, deputized by the next again in queue here. Again, another common future, the acting ones do not get confirmed. These are all very interesting features. One distinguishing factor, I think, is the two previous EDs, substantive EDs, have been lawyers serving with the Lord Mayor, who is also a lawyer. The first ED, Madam Jennifer Samakula was a lawyer, Saka was a lawyer, both serving under the leadership of the Lord Mayor, who is a lawyer. Now we are getting a person of a different discipline taking the mantle. I'm informed you are an expert in human resource management. Why I'm raising that? To appreciate the institutional memory. It's important. And to say that I'm wholeheartedly welcoming you as your elder brother. Your elder brother who is ready to take you through the intricacies of this institution and the city. And I would invite you, before you hit the road, it's good you have come at a time when we are starting the year. Probably many people are still having the hangover of the festive mood. Utilize this time to acclimatize yourself with the environment, first of all within the institution, and to get to understand it, and then the city, the dynamics. I've listened to your commitments here. I may not comment much, but you will have to reflect on some of the statements that are made here with the time. And on a very serious note, get to understand, and I'm advising, as your elder brother, get to understand the dynamics, the intricate dynamics of this institution, navigating the terrain here in KCCA, the nooks and corners, the corridors here. It's a nightmare. It's just walking a very tight rope. But if you're meticulous enough, cautious enough, take time off to study the nitty-gritty of what is entailed in this. I'm quite sure you will succeed if you do that. Allow me to say this in bold terms. Allow me to say this in bold terms. Take time off to interrogate the reasons why I've stayed here for long. Jeez, that's the fact. Those who have spoken before me, they have told you how difficult Kampala is. I'm not talking about the institution alone. Even the dynamics in the city. how I've navigated the murky waters of Kampala. I don't want to blow my own trumpet. The secretary to cabinet here said, don't overhype yourself. I am a modest person. I don't want to overhype myself. But it's important to take time off and say, but this man, I don't want to attract a myth about myself or sophistication or whatever, but it's important. Why I'm saying this, it's because I am the current Lord Mayor occupying this position, and I am your immediate supervisor. I heard you talk about many supervisors at different levels. Indeed, there are supervisors at a national level, the minister is your supervisor, but in the chain of command, there is always an immediate supervisor. Get to understand your immediate supervisor. And I think you is in the human resource. I said I don't want to talk a lot. I can see people getting concerned. But now, going into the specifics, I just want you to take a note of 5 issues. Critically, 5 issues. Number 1, the immediate outgoing ED here has talked about the question of governance. It's important. There is something we are missing here. The myth there is about corporate governance. One thing has failed is it has totally failed us here, corporate governance. There is no chain of command in this institution. There is no chain of command. There are so many power centers. So many power centers. Most of them operating in silos. And this breeds a lot of confusion, insubordination, overlap, and paralysis. In other words, I welcome you, Madam Sharifah, to a dysfunctional institution called the KCCA. It is dysfunction, Madam Nacho. KCCA, as provided for in the Act, is dysfunction. Personally, here, in my own understanding, and from my own world, I am here to welcome a head of public service and accounting officer, a head of public service and accounting officer under Section 19 of the KCCA. But we have others in their own minds who are welcoming a head of the institution of KCCA. And you can see where now the problem starts from. We had even to go to court over that issue to say who heads KCCA for interpretation. We had an ED asserting herself as the head of KCCA. And they would give their own manifestos and programs, priorities and whatnot, as if they are the vision bearers of the city. As if they have specific commitments and social contracts with the people of Kampala. And that is dangerous. I speak from my heart. It pains. Some of us go to the polls. We go through quite a lot. We make a commitment. Only to come here and they tell you, no, the head of the institution is somebody else. And then we assert yourself. They say, no. You see, the institution is dichotomized. I heard even from the speech of my colleague here, the outgoing ED, saying the Lord Mayor heads the political wing and the ED heads the technical wing. There are no wings. This is not a bird with wings. That there is a right wing and a left wing. No, no. This is one entity, according to the law, with one overall head, the Lord Mayor. The Lord Mayor, according to section 11 here, which I always want to emphasize, and it has been the most abused provision, and it pains me quite a lot. The functions of the Lord Mayor to initiate strategies and programs for the development of the capital city. To initiate programs and initiate strategies and programs for the development of the capital city. No any other office within the structure of KCCA is assigned that duty. Because programs have to initiate from somewhere. They have to originate from somewhere. Then you get an ED having the audacity to come to the Lord Mayor's Palace. Here, you hold a press conference and announce your own programs, which have not been sanctioned by the office of the Lord Mayor. They have not gone through the State Executive Committee. They have not gone through council. And then you are saying the institution is functioning. That can't be a head of public service as per section 19. The office, the job description is here. The job description is here in section 19, functions of the executive director. To be the head of public service and administration, to be the accounting officer, and secretary to council, to SEC. Actually, the ED is the equivalent of Madame Nachove here. You are the head of public service and accounting. No, Madame Nachove is not accounting officer. Head of public service and secretary to cabinet. If cabinet sits and passes resolutions or programs or policies, the role of Madame Nachove here, the secretary to cabinet, is to communicate what cabinet has passed, but not to hold a press conference. Moreover, in the office of, say for example, I don't know whether there is a boardroom in the president's office, like assuming this is the president's office. Madame Nachove comes, sits here without going to cabinet and announces that I have abolished this. I want this. Head of public service. So if that happens, and these are the reasons why people say, fights with the... No, listen, I went to the polls to get this mandate under the law. We competed. We were over 12 on the ballot paper. I defeated them, and I was assigned this duty. Then somebody comes and says, no, that position of the Lord Mayor is ceremonial. When the law is very clear, and I'm reading, it's in black and white. It's in black and white. So point number one, I want to respect, personal as the Lord Mayor, the role of each of you as defined under the law. You come to section 79. It's very, very simple. Section 79. Section 79, just read it briefly. Power of the minister. The minister shall have the following powers: to vary, rescind any decision of the authority which is in controversy, where the minister considers that the matter is in grave nature, the commission of inquiry to investigate into matter, to address the council matters of policy, to do this. In a nutshell, the minister has got veto powers. Not to initiate programs, strategies for the development of, but where we have gone wrong, the minister has got powers to say no. There is a national policy. Whatever you are doing at a state authority is at variance with the national development program. NDP3, NDP, all the national programs are superior to our programs. And that is the role of the minister, to harmonize the functioning of the institution of the KCCA with the national programs. I'm sorry, I don't want to speak ill of my minister here, but you find an ED sitting in the office of the minister and they are discussing about allocation of stories of markets in the sector. These are very, very serious matters. Then why did we go to the polls? If you wanted this mandate in Section 11, get the nomination papers. We go to the Electoral Commission. We go to the people. If they bring you here, I will yield the space for you. But if you fear elections, you fear to vie for the position of the Lord Mayor, and you come to City Hall here and you want to assume the role of the Lord Mayor, to make me appear as if I am redundant, no space. I must assure you, no space. So that is point number one. Number two, you are welcome to a city which has got no structural plan. I have heard you talk about neighborhood planning and planning. Let me give you the bad news. I ask you to take time off to study all this. Madam Nachori and the others. I took trouble to document the journey of Kampala since colonial days, because it's part of my obligation under Section 11. And elaborately, I explained the journey of Kampala in as far as planning is concerned. If I were to lecture you on the issue of planning, you would even cry. Those of you who have listened to me, I don't have enough time about this. From the time when we had Kampala as the garden city of Africa, forget about Uganda being the part of Africa, but Kampala as the garden city, which had been planned by architect May, Ernest May, way back in the early 1940s. To the last time when we had a functional and operational structure plan, decades ago, 2014, 1914, that's the semblance of the planning we had. Madam Nachori, I speak with a lot of, frustrations. And I always talk about this. When we made this huge report, heavy sums of money were invested in this. This report of over 500 pages to guide the journey of planning for the city, to have a structure plan. This expired. We got this in 2012. 10 years down the road, it expired before we translated into a guiding instrument for implementation. Now we have started on a new one. This one. This was by the Israelis and the South Africa. Now JICA has given us a huge volume. This one. A huge one. You may be here hyping Madam Sharifah that she's going to do amazing things here and what. Without a structure plan, we are incapacitated. It's the reason we are having a huge slum in Kampala here, because there is no structure plan. I'm worried. The least funded director here is the Director of Physical Planning. I don't even know what Vincent Biendamira here is doing in that department. I don't know. I'm sorry to speak. I'm sorry to single you out. Because basically this is what we should be doing. That there is a blueprint to guide the transformation journey of the city. We know which one is the industrial area, which one is commercial, which one is administrative, and the plans that are being approved are guided by that instrument. Secretary to Cabinet and the head of public service and the government of Uganda. How could this happen in the 21st century? That we approve plans whimsically. We have actually, every now and again, I'm tempted to put a moratorium on approval of all these plans, because they are done whimsically. They have no guiding instrument which they base to approve these structures. It's the reason you see malls mushrooming, they go into places where they shouldn't be. I don't have time to mention all these structures sprouting up in the areas haphazardly. We have a sprawling kind of environment where structures just come up without any plan. So we do not have a structural plan yet. And given the budget allocation my brother Rusa here talked about, given that, it appears there is no money for it. There is no money for the structural plan to be developed. We tried to develop it piecemeal, only to finish just 4 precincts of Kololo, Makerere, Mulago, and whatnot. That's where we ended. Now we have no structural plan for Kampala. It's like having a building with no structural plan. How can that happen? And the building committee, the building review, national building review committee, whatever board and what, they purport it up to monitor structures, compliance with the standards when you have no guiding tool, when you have no structure. Today, by the way, it should be digital. Right now, it will be just by pressing of a button that you get the structure plan for Kampala, and they tell you in the areas of Kororo, it's just, that one is for boulevards. This one is what? The other day we had the Algerian embassy complaining. We see a huge structure coming up, which is a security threat to us. They were complaining. And we said, now, how do we stop it? And it had been approved. And so on and so forth. So, we have a challenge. So let us not just cross over this issue to say, we are going to ensure. I'm sorry, Madam Sharifah. You may speak nice. We are going to ensure there is a plan in this city. Who happy? It will stop at that unless we have this instrument put in place and strictly enforce it. If we don't have that, I don't need to labor so much. That is the second. The third issue, the rest I'll just be brief. The third issue is about, again, no, it's still on planning, the strategic plan. The strategic plan we have been making is also of no consequence. See, for cosmetic purposes. The first one we had, this one. This is the first one we had. Strategic Plan 2014, 2015, 2018, 2019, which the ED promised to hand over. I think he has given you a copy. But this one, when at the time when it was coming to an end in 2018, before Madam Jennifer resigned, we said, but let us do an evaluation. How much of this plan have we implemented? We went to Africana. We got experts. The report was disastrous. They said we had managed to implement 23%. And I said, if it is your kid who went to school and he came back with the 23%, would you continue paying the school fees? 23% of this. Then, you will be there in the central government. I heard you make a commitment. We are going to organize borders. We are going to organize matatus. We are going to do this. The plan by 2019 was to have this metro here by 2019. So how are you going to organize the transport without a metro? By 2019, the metro. This was our plan. And in terms of parking, the congestion we are talking about, these flyovers. I heard some people, they were hyping so much about the performance of Ukajima. How can you construct flyovers for 2 decades? Just one flyover, Clock Tower. Chitibum House, we demolished the long time ago. We paved the way for the construction of that flyover at Chitibum House there, Ginger Road Junction. Where is the flyover there? And finally, the parking car. The trams. We're supposed to have trams. By 2019, trams. And so on and so forth. So, why are we making these strategic plans? In terms of parking, we are just signing contracts. I think Multiplex is about to ask. I don't know if you have extended. The way we do extend the multiplex contract. And what does multiplex do? They just come and make a car parking slots. Park and collect money. Collect money. Bossa and his team, their role is just to mark where your cars park and collect money. And they go. Yet in our plan we are saying, please, we must be having parking towers. This is a modern city. For how long shall we continue having people parked by the roadside? Those who, even here, Parliament Avenue, you come and park by the roadside. You go to the office, 7 a.m., 7:30, you park, you go to office and remove your vehicle at 5 p.m. How? In which city is that? How many parking towers do we have? That you are going to organize the traffic? Now, the worst bit, this strategic plan expired before even it had been implemented. We came up with a new one, this one. And this one, we said the target is here. This is the new one, 2021, 2025. And the commitment we made, you see the beautiful picture of my sister here, the former ED, the minister was around here, and myself. We are all here. As if it's our album. And then what did we say? The executive summary. Our planners are here. You can say Piak here. They say the strategic goal is that by June 2025, Kampala will be an inclusive, livable, resilient, and well-planned city that provides economic opportunities. In a nutshell, Kampala will be a Dubai or a London by June 2025. You have 4 months. You have 4 months left as you assume office. The target, the commitment, by June 2025, we must have a functional city, we must have a livable city, we must have a Dubai in the Kampala here. Isn't that a total order? So this one is expiring by June. The director here knows. In September, I wrote it to him. And I asked him that, Mr. Director, why don't we now start on evaluating the performance of this? We have not done an evaluation, how we have performed. And the next thing I will hear, there is no money for those meetings. Yes, unfunded priority. We have not evaluated whether we shall achieve this. And beyond this now, we have to prepare a new one. In that letter, I asked him, how far have we gone with the preparation of a new one? And remember, section 11.1, initiate strategies and programs for the development of the capital city. It's the role of the road mayor. I want this strategic plan. My brother here, Rusa, the acting, is handing over office. He has not given me the draft. Yes, I have to speak the truth. Because I'm responsible. You are meant to assist me, do my work as the road mayor, and account to the people who elected me and the Ugandans to deliver a functional city. Now we do not have a new strategic plan, work in progress. And now you are telling us, approve the budgetary estimates for 2025, 2026, against which strategic plan? Because this one is expiring in June. The budget we are making starts operational. It becomes operational in July. And it has to be based on a strategic plan. Now there is no strategic plan for that particular period. I told him we are not participating, among other issues, including the devolution. I told him he knows it and it's in writing. And I told him we are not participating in the budgeting process. Actually, we have not participated in the budgetary framework, we have not participated. We said we cannot behave as if we are not educated. I wrote to the minister here. We requested her. She even came here. We sat down here. We told her, now what do we do with this? She said, let me write to the Minister of Finance. I thank you, Honorable Minister. She wrote to the Minister. I also must commend him and his team. They also wrote to the Minister for Finance. Up to now, the letter written by him, the Minister for Finance has not responded. The Minister has also not responded. Here we are, our hands are tied. We are in January. She's supposed to make a budget. She's supposed to make the ministerial policy statement to take it to cabinet and to parliament to approve our budget. Nothing. Here, to make matters worse, Madam Buzeki, you talked about Chitezi and solid waste management, going into circular economy, waste to energy. Those are not new ideas. Those are already policies which have not been financed, and they are waiting financing. We even have a command from Parliament, which pains me. This one, a command from Parliament, July 2024, because this is after Chitez happened. When Chitez happened, Parliament had to sit a couple of months ago, and they passed this report, a 49-page report. This is, I'm sorry about this time. They said here, the Minister of Finance should, within 6 months of the adoption of this report, provide adequate funds to KCCA towards sustainable waste management in accordance with the Presidential Executive Order and existing sustainable environmental practices. The order is that we go into a circular economy. Let's implement waste to energy policy. Now we are here. We have not even acquired the land for. This morning I was here. The minister is stopping the acquisition of land. This one is saying the acquisition of land should go ahead. The NFA is talking a different language and this and that. What is it that we are doing? When the state is talking on garbage, let's not talk on the cities that there is a new ED who is going to say, I'm going to sweep the city clean. Where are you taking the garbage? We have no land. Recycling this garbage. Where is the money? And so on and so forth. So I ask you to first acclimatize yourself with all this. I prepared files which I'm going to hand over to you. The remaining two issues, I'll just be very, very brief. The ED talked about accountability here. Again, it's a very serious issue. The internal accountability systems are very weak. We always get audit reports, but they are never processed. The internal auditor, yes, good. Canon, he is a real canon. Canon will. Is he around? We have a canon who operates as a canon. He's a humble, meek. Always his reports have no penal sanctions. His is about to counseling people, behave well, don't do this, don't steal our money, don't do this. He's a real canon. So there are no sanctions. Even people who gave themselves stories and were taken to the anti-corruption court, stories in one day market, Usafi market, which was beautiful, street vendors. There are people within the institution who gave themselves stories. They have never been prosecuted. Yesterday I was in the court, I shouldn't have mentioned this. I saw a lawyer, I was with a colleague, a lawyer, he was swiftly just grabbed, said, Aaron Chiza, you are guilty, sentenced to 9 months, go to Chitaja. Within just 1 hour. Why can't we do that about these people? These corrupt people. Why don't we do that? So, there is one thing which has always disturbed me about this. We have talked about the cases we have lost. It's good we are back in that directorate. We have an issue where we have had SEC sittings without even a single day where we have had a director legal coming to guide us. And we have very intricate issues. We are talking about issues of workers. We are talking about this. That directorate of legal, my brother, My dear sister, you are going to find the problems with that directorate. I'm telling you, for me I speak the truth. You are going to find the problems. I hope it's going to be handled properly. Now that my brother Rusa is back, those who have been there, total nuisance. Paying 14 billion to Sendege, 14 billion, that is an internal lawyer. And you ask Sendege, 14 billion Uganda shillings that he's being paid for representing KCCA. That money was paid, okay, fine. Now, he said it's not enough. You owe me another sum of 80 billion. And the management is in the process of paying him installments. I hear every month 1 billion, or every financial year 1 billion. When we are here looking for money to buy land for solid waste management, we are paying the same again. There were even attempts at buying this land at 380 billion for both Komuonge and others. So we need to deal with those issues. Finally, impunity exhibited by some big people in town, the untouchables. We have had a tendency where the EDs come in here to show their might and say, I'm macho, I'm powerful. But what they do, they exert pressure on the very vulnerable people. You want to show your might on the street vendors, borders, matatus, and let the Hamuchigundus construct on our drainage channels, broken drainage channels, when we are struggling with the floods. I felt insulted the day a meeting convened here, a meeting convened in this Lord Mayor's Parlor, and they invited him here to sit with the executive director and directors after serving him with the notice that, you man, what you are doing is illegal. Those structures were never sanctioned. Then they invite him here. They hold a press conference at the Lord Mayor's Parlor, and they say, now we have agreed with him to declog the channel. Meanwhile, he's continuing to build on the drainage channel. And the city is getting drowned every now and again it rains. I don't know what stuff you are made of. Whether steel, gold, diamond, but you must be having that tough hand of dealing with the likes of Hamuchigu. How can he do this? How can this happen in the city center? You broke on Nachivo channel. And then everybody is praising him. And there are notices that what we are doing is, he doesn't have plans. Now he's being hailed. And the accounting officer, the ED, who is supposed to enforce ordinances, you sit with him at the Lord Mayor's Parlor here. You have a press conference here. A meeting sat here. That is an insult. With him. Instead of going there to demolish his structures, you are here telling him that, please, how do we now declog the channel? Does he have titles for the drainage channel? So if you don't have that gravitas required to deal with those ones, and you are just going to unleash terror on the poor street vendors, and this explains also the people who have gotten markets where the poor should operate from. We have councillors who have gotten stores in the Busega market. Let's not gloss over these issues. We have a group here called RRU. It's a terror machine. It's a militia which is marauding around. And it's being used by the institution of KCCA to unleash terror. That's how we are now showing our might as KCCA. that's what we are going to continue with. Trouble. So, the list is endless of all this. These people were on the way, because even you were asking the ED member, we sat with him here. The law is very clear of NEMA. We are supposed to have a structure which guides on how we manage the wetlands. We sat with the ED here. We asked, how do you now go and just demolish poor people's structures and you leave these malls constructed in wetlands? Here, there in Rugogo, the whole of Rugogo, which is a catchment area for Lake Victoria, they are just coming up. People have gotten title on the shores of Lake Victoria in all these wetlands. Now, Chief Ubodea of Buhama and the others, they have gotten titles. NEMA is not bringing them down. Now they go to the poor people in the region. Let us be honest to ourselves. So, there are so many other things. So many other things. That is just a tip of the iceberg. So the whole point is, I have prepared, they have given you some information. I hear some council resolution. Some of these you may not find them in the council resolutions. But we have here, I prepared 10 files for you. 10, at least to guide you on this. I am surprised that the state of the address, which captures all this information, have not been given to you by management. And I don't take that lightly. It's only this policy statement which has been given to you. Very, very unfortunate. We don't make this for the sake. We take a trouble to prepare the state of the address. And it's a mandate of the Lord Mayor every year to prepare a state of the address, to guide the nation, to guide the government on the state of affairs of the city. I am surprised you have not been given a copy. It is shocking. But I have prepared the copies for you in all these areas. I will not segment them. They are numbered. Solid waste management, infrastructure, planning, and so on and so forth. I'm going to hand them over to you. The very last one. Now this is the very last one. I'm glad you are here, Head Public Service, President's Office. The first thing you have to do in January, in addition to solid waste management, about fixing the potholes, to deal with this issue of SFC. They are not accountable to us. They have MOUs with us. We have powers and a mandate to monitor whatever they are doing. Everywhere you go, they ask you, the Lord Mayor, what do you have to do about the potholes? Then you summon these people. We attempted to summon Lieutenant Chikomeko. He said, hey, of what rank are you? That was his response to me. The one who heads the SFC construction regiment. I wrote a letter to him. I said, please, can you come and interface with this? Say, you account to us how you are fixing the pothole. He said, hey, which rank are you? Now, what do? We have SFC. They have our money. The potholes are there. People are demanding, but they are not accountable to us. I don't know whether you have capacity to summon and bring them to us here. But the very final one, the ED here talked about it. The minister here, you have to square it. She's my daughter. They have failed to face the president and tell him, right in his face, that we are tired of this business of unfunded priorities. It's a notion which is alien to planning and development. How can you have priorities which are clustered as unfunded? Then this is to be priorities. He directed that we should have 2 markets in each and every division. Now in the budget, they are not there. Solid waste management, no money. Infrastructure, we are just getting from donors. So that business of, and let us prioritize development of Kampala. The disclaimer I made that I don't always speak, I always speak for long, was to remind you that I was going to give you an elaborate speech, because this is the day I have gotten my sister here and the brother. I may not see them again. Yes. Yes, I'm speaking the truth, because the next thing, he said it, that you are free to work with the roadman, but don't forget the hand that feeds you. That is a very serious statement. So the hand that is feeding her is likely to monopolize her. Yet I should be feeding her quite often. We should be interacting. She should always be in my office. I should also be in her office. Like the secretary to cabinet here saying, that freely, work freely with the office of the Lord Mayor. But this business, now which hand feeds her and which one feeds me? May God bless you. I wish you all the best.